You're watching the ACC Network Extra on ESPN. Tonight from PNC Arena, it's the season opener as the VMI Keydets travel to Raleigh to take on the Wolfpack of NC State. And welcome courtside to PNC Arena. I'm Chris Edwards alongside Chris Corciani. Delighted to have you with us. And Chris, a lot of excitement in the air around this Wolfpack program as a new era of NC State basketball begins tonight.
No question about it. Coach Keats got hired back last spring. All the NC State fans and alumni excited about him being here and the style of basketball that he's bringing with him.
Well, a lot of great playmakers on the floor tonight. Let's single out two. We'll start for VMI and begins with Keith Smith, who makes their offensive engine go.
Keith Smith's a 6-foot sophomore. He's the only returning Keydet to have started the game. He's lightning quick, and he's going to have to use his quickness and his control to handle all that NC State pressure that he's going to face. On the other side, you've got Markel Johnson. He's a 6'1 sophomore, averaged 20 minutes a game last year, but with the departure of Dennis Smith, he's going to be called on to do a lot more, and he's capable, especially on the defensive end.
Starting lineups have been announced. A good crowd filing into PNC Arena tonight as we take a look at some of the starting lineups this evening. And for VMI, for the Keydets, a team that went 6-24 a season ago, they're going to go with a 3-guard lineup to start the contest tonight.
And that's probably smart. Coach Earl knows he's going to get thrown a lot of pressure early in the game with such a young team, and combined with the way that Kevin Keats wants to play, starting those 3 guards is going to be a good thing.
Well, for NC State, they're also going to go with the 3-guard lineup, something we expected from the Wolfpack tonight.
Yeah, that's the way that NC State wants to play. They want to get up and down. They want to turn the game into track meet, and they'll play with 1 big and 4 on the perimeter.
Leonard Freeman back in the lineup for the Wolfpack after missing all of last season, so I know NC State fans excited to see him back out on the court this year.
It's great to see Leonard back. He's a staple. He's one of those guys that does all the little things. Had a bad injury, sat out last year, and NC State fans are looking for big things from Leonard this year.
NC State in the white, VMI in the black. It's Kramer against Freeman, and the 2017-18 season is underway. Markel Johnson, who we highlighted in the pregame show, will handle the point guard duties for the Wolfpack.
VMI starts out in man-to-man. You're going to see them play man-to-man. They'll also play a little matchup 2-3, but starting out man-to-man.
Here's Al Freeman, the transfer from Baylor, kicks it out to the corner. Torin Doran starts it off for the Wolfpack.
That's great penetration. Freeman got in the lane, made the right decision. Good to see Torin knock it down. Torin's capable of doing a lot of things. When he's shooting the 3-ball, he's really dangerous.
36% shooter from beyond the arc a season ago. There's a deflection forced by NC State. They had 53 of those in the exhibition win over Mars Hill. Coach Keats says we want to have at least 40 deflections in every contest.
Yeah, they're going to be active. They're going to get after it. Markel Johnson's the one guy on the defensive end that can really make a lot happen.
Head fake that time. Here's Parham. A 15-footer is too strong. And skying for the rebound is Freeman for the Wolfpack. NC State in transition, but VMI gets back quickly as they work it inside. Leonard Freeman off the window.
Tell you, Freeman with 2 nice looks kind of takes care of the big guy inside. You see NC State applying a little bit of pressure early on.
You expect to see a lot of pressure from NC State tonight?
You're going to see that all year long. That's the style Coach Keats has brought with him from Wilmington. He likes to do it. They're a great pass, backdoor, and bucket for the Keydets.
Will Miller making his first career start. The 6'8 sophomore from South Boston, Virginia, gets the Keydets on the board. Sam Hunt, the transfer from North Carolina A&T, works it inside. That one's short by Freeman. Might have got nicked on the arm there. We play on.
A lot of times you see NC State pressure, and you might be able to get backdoor some maybe easy layups, especially early in the game.
Gilkinson for 3, and that's off the side of the rim. Now VMI wants to shoot a lot of threes. As you mentioned, NC State doesn't want to let them shoot the threes tonight.
Right. You know, talking to Coach Keats before the game, he said, listen, I don't want them shooting threes. I'd rather give up a difficult 2.
And a rebound comes down to VMI. Keydets trying to run, but NC State does a nice job getting back in transition.
I think the Keydets, they want to run, but if they don't have anything, they'll be happy to set up and try to get a good look.
What are some of your other key storylines or keys to the game for both these teams tonight?
Well, you know, the Keydets, you know, they want to play a fast style, but, you know, they just don't have the athletes right now. Coach Earl's doing a great job recruiting. He's got a number of players coming in next year, but when you've got 7 freshmen and 4 sophomores that are on your roster, it really makes it tough to play the style that he wants to play. Same thing for Coach Keydets. He wants to go up and down. He's recruiting at a high level, and I think NC State fans are going to be happy with some of the recruits that he's got coming in next year.
Little handoff there to Smith as Doran was called for the foul a moment ago. Parham with 13 to shoot, knifing into the lane, and a swat there by the Wolfpack. Al Freeman, who led Baylor to 3 NCAA tournaments, draws the contact and will head to the line.
I tell you, Freeman's been very aggressive in the early going. He's got 2 assists when he got in the lane early, and there he attacks the basket and gets fouled, going to get 2 free throws.
Graduate student out of Charlotte, averaged almost 10 points a game for Baylor a season ago. He's a nice addition to this NC State offense.
He's the one guy that I think will become their go-to. In the first 2 exhibition games, he's led them in scoring. He's that elder statesman on the team. He's been through a lot of battles, and I think Freeman's the one guy that's going to have to really score for NC State to win.
Maybe coming back to his roots from Charlotte, played at Olympic High School as he gives NC State a 7-2 lead.
Here you see a little zone pressure, a 1-2-2, and they'll mix it up a little bit. But to tell you that, the Keydets are doing a nice job handling that pressure.
But with such a small team, how much is that going to impact the Keydets as the game goes forward? Maybe don't have the size or the quickness to handle a game like this where they trap or get trapped all game long.
That's right. They need to just kind of handle the ball. As the game goes on, it certainly will help NC State. They've got deeper bench.
Omer Yurtseven checks in. That one's off the window, got his own rebound, and puts that one in.
Just too big in there for the Keydets, but Yurtseven struggled last year, and looking for him to have a better year this year. The game just was a little fast for him last year, but he's a good player. There you can see Markel off and going.
To Torrin Doran, in among 3 defenders, and lost the handle. Here come the Keydets. Keith Smith, who we highlighted in the open as the guy that's going to have to get things in gear for VMI, and there's a foul away from the ball. That's something Coach Keats doesn't want to see, a foul 35 feet away from the basket.
No, they want to pressure the ball, play aggressive. The one thing you never want to do is foul so far away from the basket, and helps the other team get in the bonus early in the first half.
Second foul on NC State as Darius Hicks, a 6'7" sophomore, checks in for the Wolfpack. Played in 21 games last year. Maybe a guy NC State's going to lean on a little more this year.
Yeah, he's a very athletic player, can do a lot of things. Didn't get much opportunity last year, and I'm sure this year he'll get a good look early on and see if he could help NC State.
Smith yet to score tonight. Miller picks it up with 8 to shoot. Kramer might have shuffled the feet, gets it back to Gilkinson. His shot blocked by Yurtseven, and NC State will clear.
It's good to see Yurtseven's got 2 blocks early in the game, making his big presence known.
Johnson, reverse layup, couldn't finish, and the rebound pulled down by Kramer. VMI in transition to hoist up a 3. That one's no good as the rebound down to Freeman.
That's one that they got to hit if they want to stay in this game, an open 3.
And Freeman all the way in untouched.
I tell you, Freeman's been very impressive in the early going. In the first 5 minutes, he's got a couple buckets and a couple assists.
Parham now will handle the duties for VMI. Parham to Gilkinson. 12 to shoot for the Keydets. Probably not what Coach wanted to do here as Smith into the lane, off the window and in.
What a beauty. He splits the pick and roll, takes it all the way to the rim for a bucket. Just a great shot by Smith.
You think Coach Earl is okay taking that much time each possession?
Yeah, that would play well for him, and then he got good penetration. That's the one thing that Smith can do. He's capable of breaking down the defense, getting in the lane, creating either for himself or for his teammates.
Foul goes on Miller. That's his first. There's timeout on the floor here at PNC Arena. NC State leading 11-4 on ACC Network Extra. NC State leading 11-4 here early in the first half. We talked about a new era of NC State basketball. Kevin Keats hired last April, Chris, to be the next head coach of the Wolfpack.
I tell you, there's great excitement in Raleigh. Coach Keats, coach down at UNCW, did a remarkable job. I've had the opportunity to go watch his teams practice. He's very intense. He coaches them. They're going to be well conditioned because the style he wants to play is going to be exciting. players are going to want to play for Coach Keats because of that style.
78-28 in his 3 years at UNCW as Coach Keats now trying to install that new system here at NC State. And a lot of excitement around this Wolfpack program.
No question. What he did down at UNCW was remarkable. The first year he struggled, but the next 2 years, they were as good a team as any. They took Virginia to the wire in the NCAA tournament. So the Wolfpack faithful is very happy to have his style of basketball here, and it should be exciting.
The first 10-second backcourt violation of the season, and imagine we'll see a lot of those from this NC State defense this year.
Well, you know, that's part of it. They want to apply pressure in the backcourt, you know, for 2 reasons. They want to try to create turnovers, but they also want to take time off the shot clock and then create more havoc in the backcourt.
LeVar Batts Jr. is checked in. He's a true freshman and somebody that you were very high on. We were talking before the game today.
I love his athleticism. I mean, the guy is very explosive on the offensive end. On the defensive end, he's going to learn to become a great defender. The lineup with Batts and Markel Johnson, which they played a lot of in the 2 exhibition games, it's fast, it's electric. They get after it. They make things happen. And, you know, Batts is going to be a fun freshman to watch.
He's a nearby product out of J.M. Robinson High School. As a backdoor cut to Yurtseven, couldn't finish. And just the 4th rebound of the game for VMI. They've been out-rebounded 8-4 here in the early going. Pass to the paint is too hot to handle for Miller, and NC State forces another turnover.
I tell you, Smith, that was a good look. It just was a little bit high. Wasn't able to handle it, but as an ex-point guard, I saw exactly what he was doing. He just threw it a little bit high.
Needed the change up there, not the fastball, right?
Right. He'd go a little slower. But here you see a little bit of zone here, matchup 2-3 that VMI is going to. NC State knew they were going to see this, and they've worked on trying to get in the gaps both with the dribble and the pass.
Sam Hunt, another one of those transfers, back in there for NC State as they go to Freeman inside. And the reverse layup is good. 4 points for Freeman.
I tell you, Freeman's big and strong. He does a lot. Great rebounder, but he's capable of giving you some scoring in there as well.
Nearly another turnover as it's picked up by Ratliff, who checks in for the Keydets. Trapped near the sideline before Smith gets it away to Viren. A little floater is too strong, and another rebound to NC State. This one to Sam Hunt.
That's the kind of defense and havoc that NC State wants to create, but the Keydets can't get into that type of game.
LeVar Batts and the foul.
I tell you, he's a very explosive player. There you see him with the dribble and the acrobatic finish with the left.
That's an interesting story. Actually signed with Virginia Commonwealth in high school, but once the VCU coach left, went to LSU, he reopened his recruitment and found his way here to Raleigh to play for the Wolfpack. And has his first 3-point play of his collegiate career.
There's that pressure we talked about. They need to get the ball in Smith's hand, try to break this first line of pressure.
Flipped, driving the lane, Ratliff had it swatted away, and it'll be NC State basketball.
You know, that's where Ratliff needs to kind of slow down, kick it out, try to get VMI's feet underneath them. But Coach Earl, he's got a tough job this year with such a young team. He's one of the up-and-coming great coaches in the country. It's tough when you're playing with such young players. And this opening night, but I think VMI is going to be fine, especially in the future.
And a reach-in foul there, spotted on the Keydets. And already some early foul trouble here for VCU. That one goes on Fred Aframeri. That's his second foul. He's the school's 10th all-time leading shot blocker and a local product out of Middle Creek High School. Already 5 VCU fouls.
That's funny. They're running the out-of-bounds play, and the referee's holding the ball, and nothing happening.
And Kramer was going to check back in for VCU, and there appears to be some confusion here. Opening night for everybody, right?
No doubt. I'll tell you, it's a great time of the year. You got football in full swing, great games, opening night of college basketball. For the next 5 months, I'm a happy person watching games every night. Best time of the year.
Absolutely.
Tell you, Chris, it's real nice to see Leonard Freeman get out to a good start. He suffered a bad injury, and NC State really could have used his presence last year, but happy for that young man.
Trying to trigger it in here is Johnson. Gets one to Freeman, and now Doran to Batts, so we'll run the offense. Batts maybe looking for some help, as he'll go to the high post, knocked away from Freeman. And a turnover there for the Wolfpack.
I tell you, they're gritty. VMI is out there battling, doing all they can, and coming up with the loose balls.
Kick to the corner, an open three is too strong. And the foul goes on VCU as Viren called for his first.
You know, for VMI to hang around, they're the ones that they need to knock down. That was a concern of NC State, was VMI's outside three-point shooting, but they haven't really got off to a hot start from beyond the arc.
0 of 3 from beyond the arc now is VMI. But a different offense for VMI than maybe what we were accustomed to seeing a few years ago when Coach Earl got to VMI. He decided to slow things down. This is a program that 5-6 years ago led the nation in scoring per game.
Well, I think that's the way they want to play. And as the year goes on, I think you'll see VMI crank it up and play high tempo. And, you know, nowadays that's the way you have to play in order to get the recruits.
Doran off the window. He's got 5. And NC State with a 19-4 lead. Another steal. Nice move and a lay-in for Markel Johnson.
Dipsy-do. I'll tell you what, Markel Johnson is going to excel in this system because he's a great defender, loves to get out and run. And VMI gets it up again. Well, they need to knock one down there.
That was halfway down for Viren. And now Markel Johnson and the Wolfpack have numbers. Johnson to Doran, who got the lay-in.
I'll tell you, Markel Johnson is putting on a little clinic here, both scoring and passing and playing great defense.
And VMI is going to call a quick timeout as NC State has exploded to a 23-4 lead.
Yeah, they're just getting out and running, creating everything on the defensive end, which is leading them to easy buckets on the offensive end. It was interesting at that break, you had Coach Keats going out there talking to Doran, teaching. And that's I've been so impressed with his practices, is that he teaches, he gets out there. He's been a special coach so far.
I will be back with more right after this. All NC State so far here in this opening half is VMI and the Wolfpack breaking the huddles. And Chris, right now, as we said, it's all NC State here in the early going in this contest.
It is. You know, VMI needs to settle down. They need to try to handle this press, get into their offense. You know, NC State's doing a great job in their press, creating turnovers, but the turnovers are leading to easy buckets.
We talked about Keith Smith in the open. He's been kind of quiet tonight, just 2 points, but seems like he's doing more of the intangible things in this kind of system tonight.
Yeah, there you see him with a nice penetration and kick. It's just the cadets haven't been able to knock down shots to keep them in the game.
Freeman tried to pass to Doran, but intercepted that time by Smith.
A nice defensive play, got right in the passing lane, pushed it up, but was under control.
Bubba Parham off a screen, tries a 17-footer, got it, and was fouled.
It's a good-looking shot, a little pick and roll. Doesn't go too deep, kind of stops before the defense and knocks down the shot. And an opportunity to get one more.
Foul was on Hunt, that's his first. Just the third NC State foul. As Parham, the true freshman, sinks the free throw. He has 3 points, and a quick sub as LeVar Batts Jr. checking in for NC State.
Well, I love what you're seeing right here with the cadets. You know, they're down 16, but they're applying a little pressure of their own, and sometimes you need to do that and say, listen, we're here to play the game as well.
Al Freeman finds Johnson.
It looks like a man-to-man, but it's a matchup 2-3. And there you see Johnson finding Freeman.
Doran gets the rebound, spins into the lane, and scores off the window.
I tell you, he's super athletic. He always seems to be in the right place for the Wolfpack, whether it's a loose ball, an offensive rebound. Just a real solid player, Doran.
Smith trying to find some help as Kramer had that one taken away. And here comes Johnson. Little finger roll is good.
I tell you, he's a pesky defender. Again, a steal leading to a layup. This is the style of basketball that Coach Keats told everyone that the Wolfpack would see, and early on it's been fun to watch for the Wolfpack fans.
I've already forced 8 turnovers tonight. We're about halfway through this opening half. Keith Smith, as VMI tries to hit another 3, looking for someone to get going, and maybe Patel, the 6'3 freshman, is that guy that can get things going for the Keydets.
What's up, Patel with a nice shot at beautiful head fake, took a dribble and knocked it down. I'm sure Coach Earl would love to see him get hot.
Markel Johnson, a little backdoor alley-oop, trying to find Torin Dorn, but it was knocked away, and NC State will retain possession. Greg Parham checking back in, the 6'4 freshman, and as you mentioned, that's the theme for VCU this year. A lot of newcomers, 7 true freshmen on this roster, just 2 seniors.
Yeah, it's tough. They're all auditioning for minutes. You know, early in the season, you're out there and no one has a set lineup. Coach Keats isn't sure what he's going to do as the thick of the season gets underway. So everybody's auditioning for playing time, and they're VMI with an unfortunate violation.
Yeah, unable to run the baseline there, but shuffled the feet, started to run the baseline, and NC State gets possession. That's just another mark maybe of having a young team, isn't it?
Yeah, that's young, maybe a little nervous, but yeah, can't do that.
That one left short by Freeman as the rebound on the baseline comes down to Kramer. NC State extending the pressure out near midcourt as Bats nearly forced another turnover. Kramer in the lane, kicks it out to Parham, and he traveled.
Yeah, they're struggling just getting into their offense, and NC State's got a lot of quickness and length out there that's creating problems.
So the NC State team that lost their top 3 scorers from a season ago, obviously Dennis Smith Jr., Maverick Rowan, and Terry Henderson. But do you think they've got the pieces to replace some of those guys this year?
Well, you don't replace a talent like Dennis Smith. You know, they're going to score by committee. They don't have one player that's just a superstar. They've got a number of very good players. They need to find out who their go-to guy is going to be. But they have a number of very good players that can fit into the system that Coach Keats wants to implement.
Torin Dorn has 11, gives NC State a 20-point lead.
I'll tell you, with these 2 guards out there, they are quick as lightning.
Viren, little head fake there, finds Patel. And a lot of time being taken by VCU, as you mentioned, having a tough time getting into their offense with 9 to shoot. Another deflection and a steal. Doran into the lane, kicks it out to Johnson for 3. Bang.
That's just beautiful basketball there. Torin took it to the bucket, and Markel Johnson's been taking care of him a little bit. He said, "I've got your back there, buddy," with a great look.
Nice no-look pass to Kramer, who scores off the window.
I'll tell you, great pass, and even a better finish with the left hand underneath by Kramer.
Kramer, a guy that saw action in 27 games for the Keydets a year ago. He's a sophomore, and you don't think of a sophomore on a basketball team as maybe a leader, but he could be one of those guys.
Absolutely. You know, that's the kind of thing, as the season goes on for both teams, you're going to find who's going to step up and provide that leadership. Some guys are going to provide leadership. Some guys are going to provide scoring. But as the season goes on, they're the kind of things that a young team will find with itself.
Markel Johnson to the foul line. NC State and the 1-and-1, or the double bonus now for the rest of the half. They're shooting the 1-and-1 here, as Johnson, a 57% foul shooter a year ago, sinks it.
Yeah, he's a much better free throw shooter than 57%. But again, not getting a lot of minutes, a lot of free throws. I think that number should go up drastically.
Nice hand for Torin Dorn, who played some valuable minutes for NC State. He will take a break as Hunt checks back in for North Carolina State.
Interesting thing about Dorn, you're going to see him play all positions. He can play the 1, 2, 3, or 4. You know, there's times when NC State's going to have 4 perimeter players, and Torin Dorn actually will be their 4-man. So you're going to see a lot of different lineups that Coach Keats is going to show from time to time.
Well, that's got to help a basketball team to have the versatility like that, to have guys that can play multiple positions.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And that's what he's recruiting, guys that can do a little bit of everything. He doesn't want just the guy that's a shooter. He likes interchangeable parts. And a lot of the early signees and commitments that they've got are that way. You see Freeman just attacking the basket. He's been very aggressive from the very beginning of the game, and He's the one guy that I think will be their go-to scorer. He's able to knock down the three, but he's also able to put the ball on the deck and get to the basket.
Sports Illustrated ranked him as the #2 scoring transfer this offseason, so a lot of people around the country, I think, believe in what you're thinking.
Yeah, he's a shooter, a slasher. He's got good size and strength, and I know NC State's looking for big things out of Freeman.
That pass down to Viren. He'll pull up left of the lane. Kramer boards the miss and is fouled.
I tell you, Kramer has given the Keydets some good minutes. There he's in the right place at the right time with the offensive pickup, and go to the line for a pair.
He will be at the line following this timeout. There is timeout on the floor. Oh, wait. Let's hold the phone 1 second. I believe we do have timeout on the floor here at PNC Arena. So we will take timeout as well. Back with more after this on ACC Network Extra. 35-11 NC State as we are winding our way down here in the first half. And Chris, we were talking about it a few minutes ago. If you look at what NC State lost in terms of offense from a year ago, kind of tough to replace.
No doubt. You know, you lose a great talent like Dennis Smith, the unfortunate departure of Maverick Rowan, and then Terry Henderson not being able to get an extra year. You know, you're talking 43 points there among those three players, but you're going to see NC State try to do it by committee. You're not going to see one or two guys do that. I think the style of ball they're going to play is going to create a lot of scoring opportunities for a number of different people.
Tyler Kramer at the line for VMI, a 57% foul shooter a year ago.
Kramer's come out and played hard. He hasn't backed down. He's done some really nice things here in the first half.
Has 4 points as NC State will get up court quickly. Torin Doran to Hunt out of the double team.
I tell you, Hunt's the shooter out there on the court. A lefty that's got a beautiful stroke and can really knock it down.
LeVar Batch Jr. goes to the hole, contacted but no call, and VMI gets the ball back.
I tell you, Patel did a real nice job underneath, boxing out the much bigger Yurt 7. And that's the kind of thing that Coach Earl wants to see, is guys out there competing, not giving up. You know, he knows it's going to be tough, but he wants to see them compete, and that's what a number of these guys are doing now.
Well, he told one of the local newspapers up in the Lexington, Virginia area, it's fair to call this year a transition season, and you would imagine so with so much young talent on their team.
Yeah, it's tough, but you see the young Parham taking it to the bucket there strong. And he got met at the rim with a tough, hard foul. But you like to see a young guy in there take it strong, make something happen, and get rewarded with 2 free throws.
Bubba Parham, another one of those freshmen out of Snellville, Georgia. Now, VMI, an interesting case of the 3rd smallest Division I school with an enrollment right around 1,500. They are a service academy, but it's a volunteer. You don't have to be commissioned, although almost 50% of their graduates do get commissioned into some variation of the armed services.
Well, that's great, and boy, 1,500, that number is, that's not many at all.
No, it's not. It's tough.
My high school, I think, was twice that big.
I almost had that many in my graduating class, I think. Batts picks up the pass, finds Hunt for a 3.
He can shoot it. That's what he does. Nice pass, but boy, if Sam Hunt, when he gets his feet set, he's as good a shooter as there is.
He's the only player on this NC State roster, as Yurt 7 said no. But finishing up the thought on Hunt, the only player on the state roster with a 30-plus point game in his career. So maybe he's one of those guys that State could look to for some scoring, as Yurt 7 with the block.
He can score. He can really knock down the 3. NC State, they're able to put pressure on the ball when you've got a big back there like Yurt 7 that can block a shot. That really helps you put pressure on the ball.
Another long possession for the Keydets, down to 8 to shoot. Parham realizes it, trying to get into the lane, triple teamed, and floats one in.
What a beautiful move. He gets in the lane, uses his pivot, and gets to the rim. Just a nice move.
First points for Parham tonight. Johnson to Yurt 7, a 14-footer is good.
Great penetration. Johnson gets in the lane and finds the big man. That's what he's capable of doing, just breaking down the defense and making the right decision.
But for Yurt 7, he's not a guy that can just score on the basket, is he? We saw that 14-footer just a minute ago.
Yeah, he's actually more comfortable on the perimeter. They want to see more of him in the paint.
And a charge called there on VMI. It'll go on Bubba Parham. That'll be his second foul.
I don't know if you had a chance to see Coach Keats there. That's what he likes. Sam Hunt stepping in, doing the little things. He got out off of the bench and really let Sam know that that's what he wants to see.
Already 11 turnovers forced by this NC State defense tonight.
You know, it's the 11 turnovers. It's just that the turnovers had led for some easy NC State baskets. One thing if you turn the ball over and throwing it in the fifth row. That's what I used to do quite a bit of. But when you're turning it over and leading for easy buckets, that's what's got to drive Coach Early crazy.
Hunt for another three off the front of the rim.
You know, Hunt never really got set.
Outlet pass, Miller, nice head fake, and is fouled on the way up.
Okay, that was a great look-ahead pass. Pass that ball about 75 feet down to the streaking Miller. You know, for Coach Earl, he'll watch this game film, and, you know, there's a lot of positives that will come of it and some negatives. But, you know, in these early games, you know, he wants to kind of see what he has and make some adjustments. But a game like this will be really good for VMI, and they'll make some changes and get on with the season.
This is a VMI team that has had some big road wins in their history. You go back to the last time they won a true road opener. Actually beat Kentucky in Rupp Arena in 2008, 2009. So a program that has won some marquee games in their history.
Oh, no. I remember back in the late 80s and 90s, we played VMI, and they gave us a dogfight. They had these two twin brothers, and I forget their names, but they gave us fits.
LeVar Batts misses a three. Deep rebound to Al Freeman for the Wolfpack, who saves it to Batts. Nice hustle. And now Batts is fouled and will head to the line.
You know, that's what Batts does. He attacks. He's not a great shooter. He's going to become a better shooter as he matures. But what he does, he attacks. He probes the defense. And much like Markel Johnson, having two ball handlers out there for NC State can create problems for defenses.
NC State 7 of 9 at the line so far tonight. Batts 1 for 1. I missed that one. It's the announcer jinx, I guess. It's an NC State program that shot 70% from the line a year ago. You think that number's going to go up this year?
No, you shoot 70%. I always say it depends who's shooting them.
Well, fair enough. Fair enough.
We used to joke and say if the guards are shooting them, it's going to be in the 80s. If it's the bigs, it's going to be in the 60s.
1 of 2 from Batts and a 41-18 Wolfpack advantage. More pressure now from NC State. Nice pass to the post and an easy lay in that time for Kramer.
I'll tell you, I like what Coach Earl did there. He put Smith in the middle, and they worked the ball to him. He threw it to the wing, and the quick duck in. That was an adjustment that Coach Earl made that was really nice.
Yurt-7 gets bumped as he missed the easy bunny, and will head back to the foul line.
That's where Yurt-7 needs to be a little bit stronger, more assertive. Needs to go in there and finish that. You know, that's the one knock on him. I mean, he can do a lot of things. He's very talented, good passer. Just needs to have a little more toughness around the basket.
Named this week to the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar watch list, one of the nation's top post players. Of course, you remember he had to sit out to start last year with the NCAA eligibility, so he was a little late getting started.
I think that really hurt him last year. Those are games that he really could have used. And, you know, not playing in those first 7-8 games really hurt him because then he got thrown into the fire and he wasn't ready. The game was a little too fast for him, but I know NC State fans are expecting big things from Omer Yurt-7 this year.
Lane violation there on VCU, so Yurt-7 gets another crack at it and hits the foul shot. NC State by 22. Miller back out to Smith. To Ratliff for 3. And that's over the top of the backboard and belongs to the Wolfpack. Another Keydet turnover.
You know, the Keydets did a good job breaking the press. They got the ball on the wing. Good dribble penetration. Right decision to throw it out to the three-point shooter. They're just not completing the play.
The Keydets 0 of 6 from beyond the arc tonight. That's not a recipe that they need for victory tonight. Al Freeman shut off. Into Yurt-7. Little baby hook is good.
I tell you, Freeman's always under control. When he took the ball to the baseline, didn't have anything, found Yurt-7. I'm really impressed with the way Freeman's playing.
Kramer behind the defense, double teamed almost immediately. Bats nearly knocked it away. Ratliff the extra pass to the corner. Nine to shoot for VMI. Little pick and roll. Kramer had it stripped, but will go to the line.
That was a nice little two-man game of basketball. I tell you, Kramer's out there. He's competing, playing, setting good, strong picks, and then releasing and going to the basket. There you see Al Freeman just a little bit late on the rotation.
Just the first foul on Freeman, 7th on NC State. So VMI shooting 1-1 for the final 4:11 of the half. As Kramer spins out the first free throw. Kramer, a North Carolina native out of Parkton, North Carolina, played at Southview High School. Set a single game school record with 23 rebounds in one contest. Got 1 of 2 from the line. Bats explodes coast to coast and finishes.
Wow, he got that ball up the court in no time. I think it took him 2 or 3 dribbles to get all the way to the rim.
Bats rated as the #1 player in North Carolina coming out of high school. And someone who has a promising future here at NC State. Into a double team, Glickson finds Miller to Keith Smith. He'll fire for 3 and hit.
That was a great inside out. They didn't have anything inside, and they found the open 3, and finally they're able to connect one.
That's their first of the game.
Yeah, but that's just good basketball, not forcing it inside and making the right play.
Freeman will fire for 3. And the rebound comes down to Kramer. Little blow by there. Smith into the lane with a left-handed finish.
Well, I can tell you, Coach Keats not real happy with that, but what a wonderful move by Smith. He splits the double team and then finishes with the nice left hand. I tell you, the Cadets are on a nice little run here.
Back to within 20. And a sloppy pass there by Yurtseven. Ratliff into the open court and is fouled by Bats. And that will take us to a timeout. 2:54 to go here in the first half. NC State leading by 20 on ACC Network Extra. We're going to be back inside PNC Arena. NC State leading by 20. LeVar Batts, one of those great freshmen for NC State. How do you think LeVar Batts and Markel Johnson fit into this system for Coach Keats?
Well, I think it's going to be special for both of them. You know, they both will play a lot together. They both will play to point. But the style of play up and down, that just fits perfectly for Batts and Johnson. They're both having big games. Johnson's got 9 points, 3 assists, and 3 steals. And LeVar Batts in his collegiate debut is off with 6 points. So they're going to be fun to watch this year together.
Jordan Ratliff at the line, a freshman from Mason, North Carolina, played at Village Christian as he hits the first free throw. Now, obviously, NC State wants to get out and run. That's part of what they want to do offensively. 16-4 NC State in fast break points. Is that something Coach Keats is going to be happy with in a game like this?
Yeah, they want to get out and fly, but they really want to make havoc on the defensive end, and I think that's what he's going to be pleased with the first half. I'll tell you, the Keydets have really played well here the last couple minutes, and you know, they're showing no quit and really fighting out there.
Freeman trying to get post position. Instead, Sean Kirk, who checks in. Oh, and throws it down.
Wow. He went up to another level. I'll tell you, he is a special athlete, Sean Kirk, but didn't think he was going to even be able to make it to the basket, and he slammed that one home.
And an errant pass that time by Smith as he and Miller are on different wavelengths. Let's look at that dunk from Kirk one more time.
I'll tell you what's amazing here, Chris. He catches it so far out, I don't even think he's going to make it to the bucket. I think he's going to shoot a little shot, and he slams it home. I mean, that is just one great athlete.
Helps when you're 6'8".
Yeah, 6'8", and you've got a 40-inch vertical.
No
That's
doubt.
A special combination.
Freeman finds Hunt. Back to Freeman. And the little scoop to the hoop won't go. Got his on rebound, but lost it. And we'll head to the charity stripe.
That's what I was talking about Freeman earlier. He's a strong player. He's got a good build. Misses his shot. Competes, fights, gets the offensive board. Now he's got. He's going to be rewarded with 2 shots.
Transfer from Baylor, where he hit 114 career three-pointers at Baylor. So a guy that can certainly shoot it from beyond the arc.
Yeah, he can stretch the defense, but I've been really impressed with the way he goes to the basket, can create for other players, and like I said earlier, he's the one guy that may end up being their go-to player when they need a bucket.
Final 2 minutes of this opening half, and we mentioned coming out of the timeout, VCU was on a 6-2 run. Not the case now, but how important are the next 2 minutes for the Keydets to get some momentum going into the locker room?
Yeah, they would like to, finish strong so they could get out in the second half, but that didn't help, that turnover right there.
They feed Freeman on the baseline. Back to Doran. Now kicks it out. Hunt for three.
He can shoot it. That's what he does. And nice look by Torin Doran. Didn't have anything. And you find the lefty for a three.
6 points for Hunt. Both coming from, or all 6 points coming from beyond the arc. Final 80 seconds of this opening half from PNC. That's high off the window and in. Nice move that time by Ratliff.
Well, I don't know how Ratliff even got that shot off. A little spin, but that was a nice basket.
Freeman lost the handle and then a tardy call, but Freeman will go to the line.
And that's the thing that you want to see. Here you see Doran, nothing. Throws it out to Hunt for the three. I'll tell you, I've watched Hunt shoot, and when he gets those feet set, he doesn't miss many.
2 fouls now on Kramer. That might hurt VMI going forward, and I think they're going to get him out. They do, as Austin Viren, the 6'4 junior out of DC, will check in.
I mean, Kramer's had a nice first half. He's got 7 points and 6 rebounds, and, he's out there competing, doing all he can, but real nice first half for Kramer.
1 of 2 at the line that time for Al Freeman. Gives NC State a 24-point lead. Under a minute to go now, opening half. As all the way in is Smith, and we'll head to the line as the block called on NC State. It's going to go on Leonard Freeman.
They did a good job of pushing it up. There you see Leonard just sliding over a little late. The thing that when they break that first line of pressure, there needs to be help prior to the big guy right underneath the basket. And that's what you saw Coach Keats talking to the guys about.
Smith has 7 points tonight, doing a little bit of everything for VMI, also trying to be that facilitator as he hits the first of his 2. Average is a little shy of 5 points a game a season ago, but don't you think he's going to need to up that productivity this year?
He's going to be called on to do a lot more, and talking to the coaches, he's super quick, can do a lot of things. He's a creator, but they're going to need to get some scoring out of him as well.
Was the only freshman to start a game for VMI a season ago. Hunt looking to the post and Freeman. State can go 2 for 1 here if they want, but they'll have to hurry. Freeman to the corner. Here's a 3 for Hunt. That rattles off. And a loose ball foul on NC State.
Now that's the foul you just don't want to commit. You've had a great first half, playing great defense and offense, and you commit a silly foul. Again, NC State's a young team with a lot of guys that haven't played big minutes.
Are we going quick to break?
And they're going to need to know that those type of fouls can hurt you in big games. Viren
goes to the line for VMI. Was a 66% shooter from the charity stripe a season ago. VMI shot 69% as a team as he hits the first. And we talk about NC State losing all their productivity, top 3 productivity in terms of offense last year. VMI lost their top 3 scorers and their top 3 rebounders. So they're trying to replace both a lot of scoring and a lot of rebounds too.
Oh, no question. They've got their best player injured, right
Armani
now.
Branch.
Yeah, Armani Branch is out for a few games. So, you talk about it. It's a tough deal right now for Coach Earl and everything. He's got a young team, best player out, but I'm sure in due time they'll be fine.
And they're not sure how long Branch is going to be out. It's an undisclosed injury, so he could be out for 1 game, for 5 games, but somebody that VMI needs to infuse back into their rotation pretty quick.
When your leading scorer is out, it changes all the dynamics of the team. Other guys have to step out. Maybe they're not in those comfortable roles, but I think when Branch comes back, That's certainly going to give Coach Earl a big boost, and some of the other guys can go into their natural scoring spots and positions. But, you know, like I said, VMI's down 20, but there's been some positive things that I think they can take from the first half, and very much the same for NC State. There's been some positives and negatives, and they're the kind of things that both these coaches will look at and make some adjustments for the second half.
That was the use it or lose it time out there for NC State, so Coach Keydets wanted to make sure he took that timeout. It's a new rule this year. You don't have the 5 timeouts, just the 4, and then 3 carry over to the second half.
And I'm sure Coach Keydets emphasized, listen, we need to make sure we get the last shot, shoot it in enough time, potentially to get an offensive rebound, but you certainly don't want the Keydets to get another look.
10 on the shot clock, about a 2-second differential between the shot and the game clock. Freeman around a screen. Lost it, got it back, missed it, and the putback by Leonard Freeman is good. And the heave from Smith won't go, and that's the end of the first 20 minutes. An exciting first half for NC State as the Wolfpack will take a 22-point lead into the locker room.
I tell you, it was a very explosive half for NC State. Got out early and often, and putting up 56 points is very impressive. VMI showed a lot of fight in the first half, but they're going to have to do a little bit more here in the second half. So
Sean Kirk, a big first half with a big dunk late in the first half as well. And that was the exclamation point here in this first half as Kirk and the Wolfpack lead by 22. We'll have halftime coverage after this from PNC Arena. I don't think PNC Arena, NC State leading 56-34 here at the break. Chris Edwards, Chris Corciani with you. And Chris, let's take a look at the scores from around the ACC tonight on the season opener for everybody. Virginia Tech, a big lead late in the ballgame there over Detroit Mercy. Anything that really jumps out to you as we look at these scores tonight?
I tell you, looking at the Cornell-Syracuse game, the Cornell coach is Dan Arrow's brother, so they're hanging in there in Syracuse.
Wake Forest, a 27-15 lead. Duke leading by 20 over Elon there at the half. Duke, the preseason #1 team. You've also got Clemson, a big lead there over Western Carolina.
Right, it's just good to see all these scores up there and knowing it's a great time of the year. Northern Iowa hanging around with North Carolina, but yeah, it's just great to see the scores, great time of year.
Miami, Pittsburgh, and Virginia, Georgia Tech in action a little bit later on tonight, so everybody in the conference will start their season here this evening. Let's take a look at some of the upcoming schedules for both of these teams as well. We'll start for VMI, and for VMI, they face kind of a tough schedule coming up. Presbyterian, then at Duquesne for their next contest. Duquesne always one of those really good programs.
Oh yeah, Duquesne's always got a great team, great athletes, but you know, the first few games are always tough for a team like VMI. They've got to get their money games in, and you know, once they settle down, I think this team will be fine. They need to get some of these games underneath their belt.
On the flip side now for NC State, the Wolfpack get home a lot here in the non-conference. NC State does not go on the road until the first part of conference play. You look at the battle for Atlantis there with teams like Arizona that are in a tournament like that.
Yeah, no, there's going to be some good early season battles. They've got 3 games in the first 6 days, and talking with Coach Keydets, he was a little concerned about that. That's not typical once you get into ACC play.
And then obviously the game against Penn State, the ACC Big Ten Challenge coming up later on in November. We'll come back with more halftime coverage. NC State leading it by 22 at the break on ACC Network Extra. Welcome you back inside PNC Arena. NC State leading at 56-34 here at the break as we welcome you back courtside. Chris Edwards and Chris Corciani, thanks for sticking with us here tonight on ACC Network Extra. And Chris, really impressive first half of the Wolfpack tonight.
I think it's the tempo. You know, NC State's defense is creating turnovers, which is leading for easy buckets for NC State.
Well, let's take a look at some of the first half highlights now, and a lot to highlight for NC State. Here are the opening 20 minutes. It starts with Torin Dorn, who had a big first half for the Wolfpack.
There you see Freeman get in the lane and kick it out for Dorn's 3. Yurt 7 came up big on the defensive end with a few big blocks, but again, Torin Dorn getting in the lane, making things happen.
Led all scores with 11 points in that first half. NC State also got creative defensively, which led to some offense as Markel Johnson got the easy lay in there.
That's something you're going to see a lot of, is that pressure. That's the way they want to play, and the first half you saw a lot of that. They want to try to keep the pace going, and I thought they did a real nice job of sharing the ball there. They get the ball in the lane and kick it out, making the extra pass.
Greg Parham tried to get involved in the offense for VMI. He did. Those are his only 2 points of the first half. That, to me, was the highlight of the half that Sean Kirk did.
I'll tell you, Chris, that seems like a lot of fun. I'll tell you, being able to get up that high, Sean Kirk with the up and dunkaroo.
Let's take a look at the first half stats now. We talk about defense for NC State leading the offense. The Wolfpack able to force 13 turnovers in that first half.
That's the way they want to play. You know, when you can create turnovers, again, turnovers that lead to easy baskets, that's what's really they're going to be looking for. You know, the Cadets, when you look at the numbers, you know, they needed to knock down some threes early in the game to stick around. They're just 1 of 7, but they are shooting at a good rate from the free throw line. Also
hanging around on the boards as well, when being out-rebounded by 7. That's got to be a positive for Coach Earl.
There is. I think Coach Earl's got to take a lot of positives away in the first half. You know, sometimes you just can't let the score dictate how your team's playing. You know, they're undersized. You know, they don't have quite the athletes that NC State has, but you know, I think they're fighting, hanging around, doing a good job.
All right, so what's the message like in both the locker rooms now? First for VMI, what's Coach Earl telling his team?
You know, I think Coach Earl's telling them, hang in there. You guys played hard. We did some good things, bad things, but let's go out and play 20 minutes of basketball. I think in the other locker room, Coach Keydets has got to be pleased with the effort. He wants to see more of that, wants to see them just get better, continue to work. You know, there's a lot of kinks in this first game, but he's got to be pleased, Coach Keydets, in the first half.
All right, NC State leading by 22. We'll have more halftime coverage coming up after this on ACC Network Extra. Welcome you back inside PNC Arena. This is NC State and VMI here in the season opener. Chris, we talked about some of the stars in our open. Keith Smith, kind of the guy we thought was going to be the facilitator and the go-to guy for VMI tonight. 3 of 3 from the field, 9 points, 1 steal, 1 assist, 1 turnover.
He certainly hasn't disappointed in the first half. He's a quick player, strong. The thing that I'm most impressed about in the first half, he only has 1 turnover against all that pressure he's faced. He's done a remarkable job in the first half. Should have more assists if some of his buddies were knocking down some shots.
On the flip side, what about Markel Johnson? What do you see from his stat line in the first half?
I tell you, the one thing that just jumps out at me is his defensive effort. You know, his defense is really creating a lot of offense, not only for himself, but for his teammates. He's got 9 points, 3 assists, and 3 steals. Again, we said this earlier, this style of ball is really going to benefit a player like Markel Johnson.
9 points in that first half, 3 steals, 3 of 4 from the field. So a guy that can do a little bit of everything for NC State.
Yeah, you know, being a sophomore, he's going to get a lot more minutes. You know, last year playing behind Dennis Smith, he had a nice year, but he didn't really get the opportunities, the reps that you need. This year, Coach Keydets has given him the keys to the car. This is his team. He's got 1 year under his belt. He'll teach LeVar Batts the ropes, and away NC State will go with him leading the way.
You know, from an NC State standpoint, we talked about how this is going to be maybe a guard-oriented lineup at times for NC State. 5 turnovers for the Wolfpack in the first half. They only had 2 turnovers by their guards in the exhibition game. I know it's a small sample size, but so far the guards are doing a nice job of valuing the basketball.
No, that's a great stat. You know, that's one that you hope you can carry over to the ACC play. Probably not so. The style of ball that NC State wants to play is going to create some turnovers naturally, but if they can limit their turnovers, you know, that's something that will certainly help them in the ACC play.
VMI gets the opening possession of the second half, and for Coach Earl, is the message, hey, just come out and try to win the second half?
Yeah, that's all he can do. You know, I think that, again, there's some real positives. Kramer had a nice half. Smith did a lot of nice things. Just need to keep building off of that.
Kramer playing with those 2 fouls, misses the long jump shot, and NC State gets the rebound. We told you at halftime, VMI's been hanging tough on the boards at times tonight as NC State feeds it to Freeman, who goes to work inside. Back out to Dorn, who had 11 first half points, but misses the 3 to start the second half for the Wolfpack.
It's a good look. You know, Freeman was inside, didn't have anything, kicked it out. Wasn't able to knock it down.
Nice pass from Smith to Kramer there. Smith maybe got caught too far underneath the basket.
I tell you, he's lightning quick. I love the way he just flies up there. But those 2 guys, Smith and Kramer, have really played well in the first half and starting out here in the second half for the Keydets.
And now Kramer picks up his 3rd foul very quickly. That's the first VMI foul of this second half. So Kramer in a little bit of trouble here.
Well, you know, that's one that Coach Earl can't be happy with. You know, he's 35 feet from the basket, and just a little ticky-tack foul that you don't need from your big guy picking up his third so early in the second half.
15 to shoot for Markel Johnson and the Wolfpack. Johnson looking to create into the lane. Oh, nice pass to Freeman, who had it knocked away from behind. And it'll stay with the Wolfpack. 8 to shoot as Fred Arafemi will check in for VMI.
I tell you, Parham did a great job. You know, little things like that sometimes go unnoticed. Johnson with the nice drive, and then he rotated to help out and make the strip.
Johnson fires for 3 and misses with the shot clock winding down. Parham in transition. Gets it to Smith. Gilkison, who started the ball game for VMI, back in there to start this second half as Smith with those 9 first half points, looking to create. Here's Parham, bit of a head fake, and now open for 3. And skying for the rebound there is Doran for NC State.
I tell you, that was a good offensive set by VMI that just couldn't knock it down.
And a 3 that time for Freeman from the corner. His first triple of the night. Was a 38% three-point shooter at Baylor a year ago.
Well, he's got a green light on this team to let it go whenever he wants to, and got his feet set and knocked it down.
I talked about VMI's struggles from beyond the arc. NC State 5 of 13 from the bonus sphere so far this evening. And another knockaway and a steal by Freeman. Tried to feed it to Doran, and a nice job defensively that time by Gilkison to prevent maybe the highlight play.
Well, I'll tell you, that's just a great steal by Freeman, but also trying to hit Doran that was sprinting down the lane. Here you see him with the steal. Little bounce pass would have probably gotten through there for a slam by Doran.
Freeman, 4-3, rattles off.
And that one was a little forced. You know, that was one that you could get at the end of the shot clock, not in the middle of the shot clock.
Around the screen that time, Gilkison. Nice little pick and roll, but it's knocked away, and NC State comes away with it.
Deflections, deflections. That's the way NC State wants to create a lot of their offense with turnovers. Johnson
trying to create, draws the double team, finds Freeman, who lost it, got it back, couldn't score. Doran the reverse layup to put it in.
I tell you, Doran is not a big guy, but he plays much bigger than he actually is. He's a great athlete, strong player. You know, on this team right now, he's playing the small forward, power forward position. You're going to see a lot of that this year.
15 turnovers for the Keydets tonight. Tough to win when you turn it over 15 times. Parham wide open and misses the triple. 2 Keydets are there for the rebound. Instead, it comes down to Markel Johnson for State. Ahead to Doran, and the alley-oop goes through his hands.
You know, that's the way the NC State wants to play, get it up and down, but that's where you've got to be patient, make the right play. But Coach Keats applauding because he wants that up and down pace.
It's already 6 turnovers now for VMI here in this half. So the Wolfpack doing a nice job defensively really all game long.
The one thing coaches get upset about is turnovers because it doesn't give yourself even an opportunity to score.
Nice move by Parham, drawing the foul that time on Freeman. You know, for the most part, NC State, I think, has done a pretty nice job playing defense without fouling. Is that something you're seeing tonight?
Yeah, and that's going to be important as the year goes on because when you're pressuring full court, the one thing you don't want to do is foul and give the other team an opportunity to get into the early bonus. So playing smart pressure defense is what you really want, not just pressure fouling defense.
Bubba Parham at the line now for VMI. Viren checks back in for the Keydets.
I tell you, they're hanging around. I mean, it's, you know, they're down, but they're not giving up. And that's what Coach Earl wants to see. He wants to make sure they compete here in the second half, and they're certainly doing that.
Parham hits them both. And NC State back quickly into the front court. They feed it to the post, and Freeman going to work with the left hand. Doran crashing the glass, misses the putback, and the rebound comes down to Arafemi. Viren in the corner for 3. It's probably not the shot that Coach Earl wanted there.
Yeah, probably a little quick, but, you know, they want to play fast, and that's one that they need to knock down. An open three is sometimes a good shot, whether it's early in the shot clock or late in the shot clock.
Freeman had it knocked away. And 10 to shoot. Freeman with a fall away. And missed it short.
The last few possessions NC State has had, they just look out of sync. A lot of ball pounding with not much movement. I'm sure Coach Keydets isn't happy with that. They like going pick and roll a lot, but the last few possessions just been a lot of dribbling. Smith
for three, and that's no good. Rebound is out of bounds, and it will be VMI basketball when we come back. Timeout on the floor here at PNC Arena. 15:28 to go in the second half. It's all Wolfpack on ACC Network Extra. 61-38 NC State here in the second half. Chris, you talked about the Wolfpack maybe looking out of sync. Could that be because BJ or Abu is not in there for the Wolfpack?
Yeah, he's their one guy that brings a lot of points, rebounds, maturity, being a senior. They need him. They need him for a lot of different reasons. Spoke to him earlier. Told him I didn't like seeing him being a cheerleader. He said, I don't want to be a cheerleader. I think I'll be out there next week.
Now, he is cleared to run, but Coach Keydets said, we're going to hold him out until he's 100%. I think Coach Keydets understands that they want to win the war, if not just this one battle in the non-conference with the Blue.
Chris, I think that's well put. You don't need him in some of these early games. You need him healthy, when we're in the ACC play in the thick of things.
Johnson with 15 to shoot for NC State. Had that one knocked away, and then the reach-in foul on the Keydets.
I tell you, NC State's half-court offense here in the second half just seems stagnant. Not a lot of movement, not a lot of ball penetration. It's just a lot of dribbling, and I know they want to try to get in the gaps. VMI, that last possession, went with a matchup 2-3 zone. It looks like they're going back with man-to-man.
Johnson with a finger roll and scores again. He has 11.
Okay, good things happen when Markel puts it on the deck and goes to the bucket, whether it's for himself or for his teammates.
Double teamed. Keith Smith gets it out to Viren, who now gets it back to Ratliff, the freshman playing with 3 fouls. So we'll keep our eye on that as the second half ticks down. Ratliff goes to the hole and had it blocked that time by Johnson, but I think they're going to get Johnson with the body.
It was a good penetration. There's where NC State needs to stay in front. Somebody that's going to the bucket's always dangerous, and you got to keep that guy in front of you.
They actually got Batts with the foul. That's his second. And it'll be Ratliff, the freshman, with those 4 first-half points. 2 of 2 from the line tonight. Guy that averaged over 18 points and 7 rebounds a game as a high school junior. Led his team to a North Carolina Independent School State Championship game that same season. The one thing that you notice when you look at both of these teams, they have guys that have played a lot of basketball in high school. As Yurt-7 gets it and dunks it home. But a lot of guys that have played in big games. How important is that? And does playing in the state championship in high school translate to playing in big-time atmospheres in college?
Oh, it does. It certainly helps. You want to play in as many big games as you can, and that's the way you mature when the lights are on. This is good for VMI, playing in an ACC arena against these players, opening night. There you see Markel Johnson with a move. If this was the NBA, Chris, that would have counted.
Yes, it was the NBA would have counted about 5 steps ago. One more look.
Nice look in here to Yurt-7. He finishes easy.
Patel was called for his second foul. Hunt will fire a 3. Got it.
Feet set, you can count it.
That's his 3rd 3 of the game for the former All-State selection at Dudley High School. And the transfer from North Carolina A&T. Kicks to the corner. A 3 is too strong from Viren. And Yurt-7 with a rebound.
Well, you can just tell when they get a rebound, they're all out running.
And Torin Doran fouled on the floor.
In order to be a team that can score in transition, you can't just have 1 or 2 guys out going. There you saw Yurt-7 get the rebound. You saw 4 guys sprinting down the floor. And that's what it takes. If you really want to get up and down, you can't have a guy or 2. It's got to be everybody running together. And You know, that's something that Coach Keydets has implemented last spring, throughout the summer. Having the opportunity to go overseas certainly helped this young team, and they're out doing some good things.
When you talk about going overseas, as Doran muscles up a shot, gets it to go, and is fouled. But the chance to go overseas, as we look at the replay here.
I'll tell you, he is a 6'4" power forward in there. You know, he's really strong and athletic. He can score inside. He can just jump over people. He's that type of athlete.
But to be able to go overseas, take that 10-day trip to Italy, you talk about what it does from a basketball standpoint. What does it do with so many new players, so many transfers, a lot of freshmen? What does it do from a camaraderie standpoint?
It's huge. I mean, that's something NCAA, they do some things good, and they do some things bad. We could talk about Braxton's situation, but being able to go overseas once every 4 years is really a positive thing, and NC State took advantage of that this year, went to Italy. And like you said, it's not only the additional practices they get, it's the ability for them to be around one another, the younger guys, and create a relationship. Here you see Yurt serving going straight up and not getting fouled. I'll tell you, they will let you go straight up with your hands, but as soon as you bend those hands, they're going to blow you for the foul.
Then they end up getting Yurt 7 again on the second try on the foul, as Kramer gets the first free throw. You know, VMI also took a trip overseas as well this summer. So both these teams taking advantage of that NCAA ruling, allowing them to go overseas once every 5 years. And probably equally as important for VMI with the fact they've got so many freshmen on this roster.
Oh, yeah, there's no question. You get additional practices, which is really important as well.
Johnson had it stripped, comes down to LeVar Batts, who goes to the lane, muscles it up, couldn't finish, but will head to the line.
Like I said, he's very explosive. Puts the ball on the floor, one dribble, and gets to the rim. He's a high flyer, can do a lot of things, but his defensive energy and effort is really going to give NC State a boost.
6 fouls on VMI here in the second half, so NC State shooting free throws for the remainder of the contest as Miller checks back in for VMI. As Kramer now picks up those 4 fouls, so he'll have to sit for a little while.
He's played tough. He's competed out there from the very beginning, done a lot of nice things, rebounded, scored around the basket. He's going to have a nice year this year.
Batts misses them both, and then the loose ball foul on Doran. That kind of compounds the problem. 3rd foul on Doran. NC State now 13 of 20 from the line tonight. Talked about NC State maybe struggling a bit in the half court. VMI has gone over 6 minutes without a field goal. Now, they did get some points at the foul line, but in a game like this, you can't go over 6 minutes with no field goals.
No, you certainly can't. There, Patel can't quite knock it down.
Nice loose side rebound there to Miller, who traveled going up.
I thought he got fouled before he traveled there, but good break for NC State.
And we talked about Coach Earl and the job that he's doing, trying to rebuild and change the culture perhaps at VMI a little bit, but he does have some family ties here to NC State.
There's no question about that. Coach Earl's father played with the late, great Jimmy V at Rutgers, was on the same team. The Earls, that's just a basketball family. His brother, Dan, is the head coach at Cornell. His father was a great player. Coach Earl was a great player in his own right, all Big Ten at Penn State. And he's got such a bright coaching future ahead of him. I think he's really going to turn this program around. But, you know, when I heard that his father played for my Coach V, that was special. And I said, well, I would love to sit down and hear some great stories that your dad could tell about Coach Valvano. He said, oh, yeah, he thought he was a great man.
First points for Darius Hicks. That's pre-Coach Valvano. That's player Valvano,
yeah,
too.
That's right. Wow, what a nice finish there. Good look, and Miller with the reverse layup and beautiful finish.
Yeah, went coast to coast there. 73-42, all NC State here so far tonight. Johnson kicks it out to Doran. Doran lost it, and now finds Johnson. Yeah.
Smart. That's nice. You know, you didn't have anything. You didn't force it. Throw it out to the quarterback and let Johnson go one-on-one.
6 to shoot. Johnson muscles up a shot. Shot clock did not reset as VMI picked it up. Numbers for Ratliff if he gets back in a hurry, as Hicks might have altered that shot a little bit. Possession saved by the Keydets.
Boy, Smith with a really nice pass. Weren't able to finish, but he just lobbed it nice and easy over the top. Would have been nice to see them knock that one down.
Smith kicks it out. Extra pass, Patel for three.
Great ball movement. Yeah, the dribble penetration, hits it in the corner. Instead of forcing a shot in the corner, he says, my buddy Patel's got a better look, makes the extra pass. Well done.
Dorn to Yurt7, wide open, tried to dunk it. Doesn't have maybe the wingspan that Sean Kirk does. That'll take us to a timeout. Nice play on both sides of the floor tonight, including by Will Miller, who gets this nice reverse layup. VMI still fighting hard. Timeout here in PNC. It's all Wolfpack on ACC Network Extra. Welcome you back inside PNC Arena. That's kind of the mantra around the arena tonight. Free Braxton. You talked about the NCAA doing things good and doing things bad. That's one of the bad things the NCAA has done.
That's very unfortunate for that young man. Tried to do everything the right way, enrolled in summer school early. Coach leaves. He decides to transfer. The NCAA says no. Makes no sense at all. You know, you've heard it from every reporter out there. You've heard it from the Ohio State Athletic Department. They think it's ridiculous. You know, it's time that the NCAA does the right thing sometimes. I understand the rule, but there's times when rules need to be modified, and this is the case. You know, that young man's going to have to sit out a year when he should be out there competing. And those are things that sometimes just don't make any sense at all.
I would agree 100%. 2 free throws there for Yurt7, who checks out as NC State has opened the lead up to 30. Parham will hoist up a 3. Maybe not the shot the Keydets wanted there, as NC State tries to get out in transition. Dorn to the baseline. Inside for Freeman, who muscles it up, couldn't finish, but will head to the foul line.
That was a nice look by Dorn. Took it to the corner and found his buddy, who's had to sit out all last year, and he's providing some good minutes. I'll tell you, he's the one guy that can really be the leader this year. He's played in a number of big games. You know, he doesn't need to be a superstar. He doesn't need to score. He does a lot of little things and brings his game, you know, every night. Comes, whether it's setting hard picks or rebounding. Everybody out there respects that young man, and I think he's going to have a big year.
And when Abu comes back, what kind of force is that going to be inside to have Freeman and Abu anchoring your blocks for NC State?
Oh, it's going to be good. You know, they've got 3 big guys, you know, that I don't think you'll see 3 of them on the court at the same time with the way they want to play, but, you know, that gives you depth at that position. And you'll see Yurt7, Freeman, and Abu out there, and that's always nice to have 3 quality players in your front court.
Another turnover there for the Keydets as Miller couldn't handle that one.
You know what you see, NC State, they do a lot of pick and rolls and pops, and you know, you're going to see a lot of pick and roll. You're seeing, it's a shame Hickson a little out of control. Very athletic player, just needs to kind of slow it down a little bit.
Ratliff, another guy that can handle the point guard duties. He's done that at times tonight, trying to maybe free up Smith a little bit, but not the shot that the Keydets want. It sounds like a broken record, but maybe the NC State defense really taking VMI to what they want to do offensively, as Hunt from the corner couldn't hit the 3. Hicks lost the rebound. Freeman will finish for the Wolfpack.
Again, all the little things. Brings his lunch pail every day. Again, whether it's a loose ball, an offensive rebound, you always see Leonard out there getting it done.
And a reach-in foul there on NC State. Will go on Torin Dorn. That'll be his 4th. Check that as 3rd, not his 4th. NC State, though, 5 players now in double figures offensively. So a very balanced effort for the Wolfpack tonight.
And Chris, I think you'll see that all year long. They don't have that one great scorer that's going to go out and give you 20 every night. I think you'll see a different guy every night step up and lead them in scoring. But sometimes that's hard, you know, to defend. You know, you don't know where it's going to come from, and it's going to be by committee. And I think it's early in the year you'll find out who their leader is going to be when they need a bucket.
Patel's had a nice game. Had that one swatted away, and it'll be Wolfpack basketball. A lot of nice pieces, though, for VMI, albeit very young, but maybe in a couple of years this is a VMI team that could contend the Southern Conference.
You know, some of the programs that are not mid-majors, it doesn't do them great to have up and down. Sometimes it's better for them to struggle and be young and then grow as a team. And Coach Earl, he's going to take his lumps this year. He's got a young team, but as they mature and get older, his future is going to be bright here in the next couple years.
Third foul there on Will Miller as Leonard Freeman goes to work on the inside.
Great entry pass by Markel Johnson, and then Freeman with the drop step and left hand.
12 points, 4 rebounds tonight for Freeman in his first game back after last year. You know, it has to feel good for him to get out there and in a real game. Obviously played in the exhibition game, had a nice game in the exhibition with 19 points. It has to feel good to get back in the regular season and have a game like this.
No doubt about it. When you sit out a full year, you just can't wait for the lights to come back on and be able to get out there and be with your buddies and compete. I know last year he was dying to play and certainly could have helped the Wolfpack. But he's ready to go this year, and I think he's going to really have a big year. You know, again, he's been in a lot of big games. His leadership will be very valuable.
Approaching the 9-minute mark as there's a foul away from the ball. That'll go against NC State. I believe will go against Al Freeman and will be his third. So some foul trouble starting to build up a little bit for the Wolfpack here with about 9 minutes to go as Will Miller heads back to the line. Miller, a guy that only averaged just over 10 minutes a game last year. We'll certainly see his numbers increase, as we told you in the first half tonight, his first career start.
You know, they only had one guy, the Keydets, which was Smith, that had even started the game prior to tonight. And, that's tough. You add that in with 7 freshmen and 4 sophomores. You know, games like this is only going to benefit the Keydets.
Yep.
And they certainly haven't disappointed. The score is not favorable, but they're out there hustling, competing, and that's all you can ask for in a young team.
Nice deflection that time by Hunt after he just turned it over by stepping on the sideline. That's what Coach Keats wants, deflections, deflections.
It's the name of the game. Create havoc, create turnovers that create offense on the other end.
Miller works it around now to Parham. Foul line extended here for Miller. Miller for 2. That's short. Gilkison with a new shot clock for the Keydets. Long 3 here for Parham, and that's good.
Good. It's good to see them have some success there with the offensive rebound. Good decision to bring it out. Found Parham for the 3.
Johnson gets it away to Hunt. Into the lane, little floater is good.
Love that shot. It looked like it was off balance. I wanted him to shoot the 3. He didn't feel comfortable, took it in. A little off balance, but threw it up and just having a night.
11 for Hunt. Skip past to Patel, little head fake. Now tries to go up against Freeman and uses the window to score.
Nice finish. Patel's got that head fake down where he gets the defender in the air, puts it on the deck, and nice finish at the rim.
6'3" freshman from Danville, Virginia, and there's a hold. That's going to be caught against Parham and will be his second. NC State will be at the foul line when we come back. 7:27 to go from PNC Arena. It's all NC State on ACC Network Extra. NC State by 34 as we welcome you back inside PNC Arena. And looking at some of the numbers, Chris, 18 turnovers for the Keydets in this contest so far. On the flip side, just 7 for NC State. So I'm sure for Coach Keats in that regard, mission accomplished tonight.
Yeah, that was important for NC State going into this game, is to take care of the ball offensively. And they've done a nice job with just the only 7 turnovers. On the other hand, they want to create a lot of havoc, and 18 turnovers is a number that's going to make Coach Keats very happy with.
Freeman at the line. Hits them both. NC State shooting in the double bonus for the remainder of the contest tonight. That one knocked away near midcourt, picked back up by Gilkison, who then had it knocked away by Johnson. Ahead to LeVar Batts, who gets the lay in.
I tell you, that was a crazy looking bounce pass by Markel to LeVar, but you're going to see a lot of those two. Would be a nice combination.
Knocked away by NC State on the baseline. It'll stay with the Keydets. Let's take one more look at this bounce pass from a second ago.
It's a great steal. Markel Johnson with the quick hands and a hard bounce pass, but great finish by Batts.
It's almost like he was spiking the football there.
Exactly.
Parham hits a three.
There you go. Knock it down. Parham threw that thing way high in the air and nothing but net.
His second three of the contest. Johnson, little crossover move. Sean Kirk into the game for NC State. Johnson goes to the hole and the foul.
I tell you, he's quick and elusive, can get to the rim when he wants to. The thing I'd like to see Markel do is really knock down that three-pointer this year. That would make his penetration that much more dangerous. But again, him having more minutes this year and being the leader of the team is going to be valuable.
13, now 14 points and 9 assists tonight for Markel Johnson, so 1 assist away from a double-double. And a foul on NC State. It's going to go on Johnson. That'll be his second. Check that as third. 13 points tonight for Bubba Parham as he heads back to the line for the 1-and-1.
I tell you, he was going to shoot that 25-footer with great confidence, and that's what you want to see. You know, you're down in the score, but you haven't lost your confidence. You're still out there giving it your all.
And for a guy that's listed at just 5'11", I mean, he's out there competing against some of the tallest guys he's probably ever faced.
No question. And, you know, again, we talked about it. There's going to be some positives and negatives. Both coaches are going to, you know, look at. They're going to go back to the lab and they'll like some things. And again, there's some other things that they'll make corrections. For NC State, it's going to be a quick turnaround coming back Sunday, but there'll be plenty of time for Coach Keats and the staff to make some adjustments.
All three at the line for Parham. As Freeman tries to bullet one inside, knocked away nicely by Vereen, and then picked up by VMI. Here comes Parham to Patel. That one deflected right to Kramer, who's playing with those 4 fouls. Patel with the head fake. Parham to Parham, no relation. It's Bubba Parham who has it now for the Keydets with 8 to shoot. Greg Parham back out to Patel. That's too strong, and Freeman gets the loose rebound. As we look big picture now with NC State leading 91-56 here with under 6 minutes to go. Big picture in terms of the ACC this year. Freeman couldn't finish, and the Keydets come away with it. NC State preseason picked 12th in the conference. A fair assessment, or you think NC State maybe a little higher, a little lower? What's your thoughts?
I think it's a very fair assessment. You know, I think that this team, you know, they lost a lot of scoring. They've got a new coach in with a new system. I think it's very important for the NC State Wolfpack fans to be patient with Coach Keats. Again, this isn't, you know, it's a new system where he's got to get his own players in, and he's doing a great job recruiting, but it's not going to happen this year. It's probably not going to happen next year. It's going to be a 3-4 year project. You know, it's in football, if you're used to a pro-style set and all of a sudden you want to go to a wide-open offense, it takes time to get those right guys in. But I can tell you, I think Coach Keats, and watching him at practice, he's certainly the right guy, and I think he's going to do a great job.
To your point, right there, NC State gets the rebound and the throwaway there on the other end. So it's going to take time to get your system, get your guys in here.
Yeah, there's no doubt. You know, and his system's unique. You know, it's up and down. He's got to get guys that are athletic. You know, he's going to increase the number of possessions, and in order to do that, you've got to recruit at a high level. And again, he's off to a very good start doing that. But you know, NC State fans, me included, you know, we want it now. And you know, with everything, I think we need to be real patient with Coach Keats. He's going to do it the right way, but it may take a few years until we get to the point where we want to be.
Foul was there called on Johnson. That's his 4th. And now Parham to the line. Parham has lived at the foul line here in the second half as he sinks that one. Hasn't missed here in the second half.
Well, good things happen when you attack the basket, and that's what Parham's done here in the second half. Hasn't backed down. He's just made the best of the opportunity, and he's putting it on the deck, going to the basket, and getting fouled.
8 for 8 from the foul line here in the second half. He's 11 of 11 from the line for the contest. Approaching the final 5 minutes. Now looking at the conference as a whole, I feel like the ACC top to bottom pretty deep this year.
I think it's deep. I don't think the conference is as good as it's been in years past. You certainly are going to be top heavy with Louisville, Duke, Carolina. I'm not so sure the bottom or the from top to bottom as good as it's been in years past, but just with those 3 alone, you're going to have 3 of the top 10 teams in the country.
10th team foul there on NC State. LeVar Batts picking up his 3rd of the contest. And back to the line is Keith Smith. He's 2 of 2 from the stripe tonight. We talked about it earlier as how NC State has done a nice job of playing without fouling, but now the foul trouble starting to mount a little bit for the Wolfpack.
Right, you start getting some cheap fouls, and that's what you don't want to see. And Coach Keats over there talking to LeVar Batts. You want to play sharp, even though the game is out of hand. You still want to do all the things the right way.
1 of 2 from Smith, to the chagrin of the crowd here at PNC. Vocal fan base here tonight at PNC in the season opener. 3 on the way here for Freeman. Wouldn't go. And LeVar Batts will go over the back. 4th foul on Batts in his collegiate debut. And that will send VMI back to the line.
Must have been something to do with whether or not VMI scores a certain amount of points.
I think if NC State gets 100 points, then you can go get a free biscuit from a local establishment.
Okay.
I think that's what I'm hearing from around us. Parham back to the line. Hasn't missed tonight from the free throw line. Boy, he's got a smooth stroke from the free throw line.
He does, knocking them down under duress. Crowd going crazy in the background. And
there's the biscuits.
There's the biscuits. Everybody's sticking around to see if they get their biscuits.
State needs 7 points in 4.5 minutes. I would imagine people are going to get the biscuits as Batts finds Kirk. Brought the house down in the first half. Missed the 15-footer. Now that's one of those as a shooter when you miss it, you're like, hey, that was tipped, right? That was tipped.
Absolutely, yeah. You could never throw it up that way without thinking you got nicked on the hand or something.
Patel misses the long 2.
Well, I tell you, I like Patel. He's aggressive. He's, just out there fighting away.
Loose on the deck. Doran had it. And then a held ball, I believe. And NC State has the arrow. Now, you can't tell me there wasn't a foul or a travel or something going on in that scrum right there.
Looked like there was a little bit of
a little physical
bumping going on in there, but it's good to see both players go at it, play aggressive. Ball goes on the floor. A little bit of football going on out there. Doran's brother plays for the Tar Heels, so he knows a little bit about football.
Freeman, with under 4 minutes to go, gets it to Batts. Yurt 7 going to work in the post and had it blocked nicely by Urfamai. That'll take us to a timeout. NC State has the ball. When we come back, 3:54 to go from PNC Arena. NC State with a lot of experience in terms of games played this year thanks to a couple of grad transfers, Al Freeman and Sam Hunt, who've been producing big for the Wolfpack here tonight.
No doubt. When Coach Keats came in the spring, he had a number of spots to fill, and he went out and picked up Freeman and Hunt. And those two guys are going to really help the Wolfpack scoring. You've got Hunt, who's just an unbelievable knockdown shooter, and Freeman more an all-around scorer, has kind of led them in scoring in the first 2 exhibitions.
Backdoor cut for Freeman, and right on cue, the grad transfer scores.
He does a little bit of everything. There he does a good job of moving without the ball. And LeVar Batts finds him for an easy layup.
Well, you talked about earlier with Leonard Freeman playing in those big games. Both these guys have been through the college wars. They've played in the big game environments too.
Oh yeah, they've played in a few games, no doubt. And it's nice having those fifth-year seniors, guys that have been through the wars and are very mature. It's a great rule, and a lot of players have taken advantage of it. That's become a very big thing in recruiting at all levels, is finding that guy that's graduated and being able to get him for his 5th year.
Vereen misses the first free throw. A 66% free throw shooter from a season ago. Second free throw is good, so he gets 1 of 2.
So I was just informed
Yes.
with the crowd noise, there's a promotion. If the cadets miss 2 free throws in the second half consecutive, everybody gets a free Chick-fil-A.
Ah.
This is a wonderful promotion where you're hoping the home team fouls.
Yes. And that play-in is good by Parham. I was wondering why that was the cheer when NC State committed a foul. There have been ample opportunities here with the tightness of the way this game has been called here in the second half.
I'll tell you, this is Coach Keats' first game. He's going to get his first W, but he may want to look into that promotion.
Kirk flips it out to Doran for 3. And the rebound comes down to Ratliff, who's done a nice job playing with those 3 fouls. Parham curling out now for Ratliff, knocked away.
And the crowd yells, foul, foul.
Yes. Lewis scooped to the hoop, but he's fouled. And the foul will go on Yurtseven. That's the 3rd on Yurtseven. And we'll send VMI to the line as Dorn looks like he might be cramping up there. Could be a ankle as well. That's something you don't want to see in a game like this.
Never want to see that. I remember a couple years ago seeing Terry Henderson go down in the first game.
And Torrin Dorn's had a really nice game for the Wolfpack tonight.
Oh, and there's no doubt he's had a good game, been all over the place there with the offensive rebound. I tell you, that bench is thin over there with Abu and Beverly and a couple of transfers sitting over there. I hate to see him with any serious injury.
First free throw is good there by Lewis. So VMI not helping the Wolfpack fans out here tonight.
No kidding. They're shooting at a high rate, especially here in the second half. They're knocking down their free throws.
79% from the foul line tonight are the Keydets. As that one's no good. The rebound comes down to NC State. Obviously, a bit of a tough offseason for the game of college basketball in general, as Hicks gets the bucket. So in your eyes, after this really tough offseason, really bad summer publicity-wise for college basketball, where does the sport go from here as we start a new season tonight?
You know, unfortunately, I think it's the tip of the iceberg. I think there's going to be a lot of other things that follow. And I think there's going to be a change in college athletics. I think in the years to come, you know, I don't think we're going to know of college basketball the way we do now. I believe that, you know, the student athletes are going to end up getting some kind of stipend. I think they're going to be allowed seeing monetary things for their likeness. And I just think that the game of college basketball is going to change a lot. I'm not an advocate for it because I think it's great the way it is, but you know, there's certainly going to be changes that are being made.
To the basket, Freeman gets the bucket. We were talking about it earlier with the one-and-dones. A lot's been made about the one-and-done type player. Would you keep the one-and-done model, or would you change it if you were the czar of basketball?
If I was the czar of basketball, wow. First of all, I'd love that opportunity. Yeah, the one-and-dones has created a problem, I think, in a lot of different areas. I think the one area is you've got guys on teams throughout the country that just don't care about winning and losing the way teams did many years ago. It's more about themselves. If you made them either come for 3 years or just stay, go right away, I think you'd see things a lot different. You know, the one and dones, you know, it's good for the kid that's a superstar. I think that the coaches, the fans, the other teammates are the ones that kind of get hurt, you know, with the one and dones.
So what would your model be then if you do away with the one and done?
I like the baseball model where, you know, if you're good enough to go out of high school, then go. But if you end up enrolling in a university, you've got to be there for 3 years. And that way it gives you an opportunity to mature as a person and a player. And the fans get a chance to know you. And it gives coaches an opportunity to really know their team. I mean, it's put it really difficult on coaches nowadays. They don't know what their roster is going to look like from 1 year to the next with guys leaving, transfers. You know, I think eliminating the one and done would be very beneficial, but I don't know if the NBA Players Association would ever go for that.
Lewis gets the bucket. His first field goal tonight as NC State has hit the century mark here tonight. Wolfpack cannot dribble it out. It's about a 13-second difference in the shot clock and the game clock, but NC State can take it almost all the way down.
And again, you know, I think, Chris, both coaches are going to see a lot of positives and try to build on it. You know, NC State's got to be happy with the win. You know, certainly they're going to face much more difficult competition as the year goes on.
7 Wolfpack players in double figures now as Bats hit that last bucket. And a whistle out of bounds. It'll be NC State basketball. And that should just about do it tonight as NC State will be able to dribble out the clock here with just 10.4 seconds left.
Yep, congratulations to Coach Keats on getting his first win as a coach and staying undefeated.
That's right.
Congratulations, Coach Keats.
So NC State with a victory tonight. Just overall takeaways from tonight's contest?
You know, I think it was a good win. They got their kind of feet wet, and now they need to kind of build on things. And you know, I think Keats is going to be happy. I think for Coach Earl, you know, not happy to come in there and take an L, but again, a lot of positives and a young team that he has. And I just think he's a star in the making as a coach.
102-67, the victory for NC State tonight, as the Wolfpack will get set to take on Charleston Southern coming up on Sunday. NC State with a big victory tonight over VMI to open up the season 1-0 for Chris Corciani and the rest of our terrific crew. This is Chris Edwards saying so long from PNC Arena. You've been watching ACC Network Extra Basketball as NC State starts the season 1-0. Thanks for watching. So long, everyone.